Quick, I want you to think of your one passion project. A novel you've been wanting to finish. A graphic novel you want to start. Maybe an idea for a YouTube channel you've been putting off. Or maybe it's something that you're currently working on, but you're not sure if you should continue. I'm going to tell you right now that if you ever need a sign to just go for it, I hope this video can be that. I'm not going to tell you how to get 1 million views or sell 1 million copies. God knows I'm struggling with those myself. I'm not even here to tell you how to get an agent or break into the industry. There are other excellent channels for that. I'm here because I finally managed to articulate something a lot more profound. And by the end of this video, I hope you'll also get to see that for yourself. Now, this realization was something that came up during a conversation with a friend. Ayla Vejdani is the author of You and Me, a collection of interconnected short stories of queer love in its various different forms. Recently, I was on a podcast, full conversation on her YouTube channel, linked right here. I met Ayla at a writing workshop, and I had the privilege of reading 2 of her stories before any of it goes public. There was one particular passage that struck me.
I hesitated at first, introducing the children. I didn't know that world, had never done it before. Didn't know what the right way was, if there even was one. I started by introducing her as my friend, until one day my eldest, Lila, said, "I love how Luna loves you." And I started to cry. She noticed. She noticed her mother being loved, fully, completely. It broke my heart that she hadn't witnessed that type of love in our home when I was with David. Seeing her mom be loved, seeing their mom be worthy of this type of devotional love. I needed my kids to see that.
Now, if you've seen my video on Ghibli or known about my work outside of YouTube, you know there's a special place in my heart for the welfare and safety of queer and trans children. The story isn't about that, but it does send a powerful message that queerness isn't only for adults. The mother starts with anxiety, introducing her partner as a friend. And then she realizes that what she should be more afraid of is that there used to be a world where they've never seen their mother love at all. Doesn't that make you question, why are we okay when children witness gendered violence or live in borderline abusive households as long as they have a mom and a dad? And why do people completely freak out when kids are shown that there is a world beyond cis heteronormativity? This particular issue might have absolutely nothing to do with your passion project or your storytelling career, but I brought it up specifically because it shows how the process of writing is, more often than not, very personal.
Yeah, so that chapter definitely talks about divorce. And I think in divorce, there's always this conversation about what about the kids? And that was my way of reimagining what about the kids. Because in life, when they are older in their own journeys, they will come to points where they have to make hard decisions. Do I go towards the things that are easy but harming me? Or do I take the risk of doing something that is exceptionally hard, bet on the parts of me that haven't had a moment to shine, haven't had a moment to be loved?
We write to think, we write to process and affirm our values. And in this process, we allow ourselves to be vulnerable. This requires a great deal of trust because we're being vulnerable not in just witnessing how shitty our work is most of the time, but also how this vulnerability is often a mirror of our own personal inner journey.
Through the journey, it will keep evolving. Like the first words and the final words are going to be quite far from each other in the best ways, in the ways that you will get so much clearer on your voice and your point of view, your purpose of why you're even doing this. And then it will take its own shape. But I didn't start there. And so I think that's kind of a good thing to know. I think sometimes we think we have to know everything before we do anything. And that's just impossible. And it will leave us stuck in that starting phase. Even with relationships, because this is a romance book, even in real life relationships, this constant needing to know everything and have everything guaranteed will keep us from experiencing what we were meant to experience. Most time, the risk is part of the magic. Like even trust, I have to trust you to see if I can trust you. So it's like this constant idea, am I going to trust you? Well, part of that is the risk. I have to first give you something to trust you with and see, oh, Did you break my trust, or are we going to learn from this and what? Or give, and I'm sometimes have to give you opportunities to break my trust so that we can learn if there's trust in this relationship. And so risk is like a critical component to getting anything.
That's it, isn't it? Trust. That's the question. Do you trust yourself enough to work on that project you've been wanting to do? Or is the risk of rejections, conflict, internet hate, or simply ignorance? Your book's not selling, your video's getting less than 20 views. Are those risks too great? Too scary? Because I've been there. Getting your story published is just the first hurdle. If you saw my last video, you know how hard I've flopped in the past. I thought I was a failed novelist, and I stepped away from the world of prose for like a decade.
But tell me what that was like for you in the sense of like when you say flop, what does flop mean?
No, actually, I kind of like the finished product. Like
Okay, so
right
that's what
now,
I'm wondering. Yeah.
yeah. Just in terms of sales, it didn't sell enough to warrant a sequel. Writing a story, getting an agent, getting published, marketing your work, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. They're really freaking difficult. I don't know a single human being who hasn't at least thought about quitting at least once in their lives. I've seen award-winning filmmakers give up. I know published authors who just stop writing. But when you really love something, it comes back to you, doesn't it? The idea just keeps getting into your head. You can't let it go.
The most impactful part of writing for me is that I loved it. I really loved it. It literally changed the course of how I imagine my career. Over the last 4 years, it changed everything
Mhm.
because of how much I loved it. It was really unexpected. When I'm in the place of writing, I feel the most content that I've ever felt.
And honestly, me too. I love writing. When I left prose, stories came in the form of comics. Words came and structured themselves into theories, papers, academic lectures. And one thing I'm only starting to notice is that it's not only just about writing or making stories. Something that keeps coming up for me personally is a theme. You can carry trauma, you can carry grief with you, but it does not foreclose the possibility of hope. When you have hope, it does not erase the trauma, it does not cover over any kind of grief. Like you can carry both at the same time.
I really appreciate that. That's exactly where we intersected. And I think that's where the art matters, I think, to both of us. And that's why we had this conversation, is how to use art as a vehicle for change and to use hope and possibility as the medicine.
And there it is. Once you find something you can't help but obsess over, the art becomes the thing that matters most. Going away from our conversation a little bit, this part reminds me of that scene in the anime Blue Period. Yatora needs to convince his mom to let him enroll in art school despite it being hard to get into and doesn't have the most ideal job prospect. But instead of talking, he just draws her. And as he draws her, he notices the cuts and scrapes in her fingers from all the hard work, her muscles, her hands, the way she does her best to not take up space in even their meals. And he says, if I didn't start drawing, there's no way I would have seen that. Gets me every time.
What am I writing? All of this writing, what is it for? I'm really committed to this theme. I'm really curious about how we relearn ourselves and rediscover ourselves and with each other, and how we keep meeting through the seasons. I think the work of loving each other for, through, and with seasons is how we all get free.
I said it just now and I'm gonna say it again. Writing, making art, making anything really is hard. There's gonna be times where you just want to quit, leave everything, put that manuscript away to collect dust in the back of your drawer. And if that's where you are right now, it's fine. There's no shame in that. Or if you decide it's not for you, that's also fine. I'm never gonna be a mangaka publishing a weekly series in Shonen Jump. I've written a weekly series on Webtoon and I know how taxing it is for the artist. I don't want to go there. But if it's something that keeps on nagging on the back of your head, and the things stopping you are mostly fear, what if it's bad? What if people hate it? What if nobody cares? Or if you find yourself making excuses, I'm finally gonna do it after I buy a new camera or a new laptop or get a new job or hire a new babysitter. You might want to think on that a little while. Not because things will be sunshine and daisies, you probably won't be able to keep up a routine for some time. Your work will keep being bad until it gets good. People might not care about you for years. Things will be hard. But you'll learn so much about yourself with the things you write. How you see the world, what you believe about people, what you're struggling with in terms of how to live a good life. You learn how to take risks, how to trust yourself, or in what areas it might not be such a good idea to trust yourself. And you'll learn when to take that leap of faith. And before you know it, your faith becomes a habit. The entirety of my writing career was inspired by one person I met 20 years ago. She was a friend, a teacher, and a mentor to me. She wrote short stories and made short film that won an award. And one day, out of the blue, at least that was how it seemed to me at the time, she stopped writing. I got angry the way kids do when someone they look up to lets them down. I thought she had so much potential for success that she was just throwing out of the window. But now I think of her students, me, but also everyone else she's managed to inspire. And I feel nothing but gratitude for her to have just given it a go at the time. I had no idea what she was going through in her life, yet she still went for it. I don't know if she'd ever write again, but once upon a time, she did. And her work touched me profoundly and made me the person I am today. In the beginning of this video, I promised to help you articulate something a lot more profound than just the numbers you managed to achieve. And I hope that the snippets of my conversation with Ayla, along with some of my smaller anecdotes here, have given you a glimpse of what I mean. If you're interested in listening to the full conversation, I'm linking it below. Writing to me is a way to live my life, to process my thoughts, to see the world and to understand myself, and hopefully to inspire others. And I hope this video can inspire you to finally go do that one thing you've always wanted to do but keep putting off. I promise you, you'll thank yourself for it. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in the full conversation, it's linked below. And if you're seeking queer love stories, check out Ayla's book on the URL right here. And if you've read the book, come back here and share your thoughts. Bye-bye.